Testing. Testing 1, 2, 3. Nachos. Nachos. Testing. Hello. Testing 1, 2, 3. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Henry's Kitchen live stream, where today we're going to be making Henry's Easy Cheesy Nachos Supreme. This is a, do you hear me okay? I want to start out by saying that recently I've reached the affiliate status on Twitch, and it seems like only a month ago this was a dream that I had, and I want to thank you, the viewers, for helping to make this dream happen, and a lot of other special people I'll be thanking throughout. And yeah, there's I think there's one emote there. There's more coming, and badges and all kinds of stuff. So I'm still new to this. Just a general note about cooking in general, or just goal making or dreams. About 11 years ago, I was in the throes of probably the worst nervous breakdown / midlife crisis / panic attack that you could possibly imagine. I was going through a really bad breakup with a girl that I was only seeing for a few days, but it took me years to get over, and I was doing a lot of bad things. I was eating a lot of junk food, and I was drinking a lot, and I was also scrolling through YouTube videos and trying to learn how to cook, and I stumbled on a video of how to make asparagus, and one of these days I'm going to pull up that video. It was about 11 years old, and it was a girl teaching how to make grilled asparagus, and it would be an understatement to say that it changed my life. Suddenly I started eating asparagus and getting healthier, and more importantly, I started teaching people how to cook on the internet, even though I really didn't have a lot of experience with it. But I want people out there to know that if you feel like you want to be a teacher of anything, even if you don't know anything about it, just start teaching it on YouTube, and you'd be amazed at how people will just assume that you're somebody who knows what you're doing. And don't ever give up the dreams. I'm still very depressed, but that's just something that comes in time. So let's talk about the recipe that we're going to be doing here. I see some people giving gifts and stuff. Somebody named Crush My Cock, Nuke Pepe, and Endo U3. So there's a lot of gift giving going on, which is a new thing to me. So I'm going to have to learn a little bit about that. But the one thing that I am an expert at is cooking. And if you went to the Discord, you'd know what ingredients that we're going to be working with. Let me just show you. We've got a nice assortment of South American type foods that we're going to be using for this, and that's going to be 1 pound of some kind of beef in ground form. I'm going to be using this plus I have something, I have this, which is a Mexican crumbles, plant-based meat alternative that I had in the refrigerator. I think it was something that I wanted to experiment with a long time ago and I forgot about it, so it's actually coming in pretty handy for this recipe. I don't think this ever goes bad, so don't worry about that. We're gonna also have, I have some pampika here. You can use stoked or you can use any kind basically, but I like the stoked because it gives you a little bit of a zing to it. And also don't forget that you want to put the cumin in there. And then I've got a can of beans. They can be refried. In this case, they're just fried the one time, and it's black beans. And preferably you'd have a green pepper because it would make the colors nicer, but red pepper and green pepper are basically the exact same taste, so I'm going to use this. And you want, ideally, what are called tortilla chips, which are more of a Mexican or South American kind of a chip. But I don't have those, so we're going to be using Ritz crackers, which is a little bit more, I don't know what you would say, Americanized or whatever, but we'll just use about one sleeve. And finally, we have our emulsified cheese type product. You can use actual cheese if you want. But let's go ahead and get started here. I'm going to start by moving all of this shit out of the way because we're not going to need it just yet. Oh, I'm very excited to give everybody some interesting news here. This cracker, I think I'm just going to eat it. Pretty good. I have a new device. As many of you noticed last time, I was very into my griddle, which is a fantastic piece of equipment for any kitchen. I had been using it as a hot plate, and I tried to use it to make popcorn, and what I discovered is that it didn't quite get hot enough to heat the oil. So we had a little bit of a snafu with that, and it's not really the griddle's fault. I was trying to use it for a purpose that it's not necessarily meant for. So we're not going to be using that anymore. I went to the thrift store and I bought this thing, which is called New Wave, and it's an induction hot plate, which apparently that means that it uses magnets or something. The surface is a little dirty, but that's just because I bought it used, so it's whoever the person is that had it before me, it's whatever they were cooking, but that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and plug this in. Maybe really quickly we can check in with the roast beef cam here. He's got a new thing that he's been doing where he's trying to get into this area under the sink. Sometimes he gets in there. It can be a little kind of a fun little thing to watch. It's sort of suspenseful. Oh, looks like he's in. He's in, guys. Almost. Oh, there he goes. Okay, so we'll check in with roast beef a little later and see what kind of adventures he's having. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take this thing, which is steel. So this should work on our induction situation. And Oh, okay. Somebody has requested an emote that would be the first, the picture on the cookbook cover. Yeah, absolutely. That's a great idea. I've never considered myself somebody who's necessarily photogenic, but I found that if you are ever taking a picture or if you're ever on camera for any reason, your safest bet is to just look straight into the camera and try not to have any facial expressions. That way people will be less likely to make fun of you in the still picture form. By the way, I've got my coffee, and that seems to be working out pretty well. All right, so let's take a look at our instructions here. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to put our... someone has asked... Snake Pliskin 2 asks, how do you talk to girls? It's not easy. As a matter of fact, I would probably try to make sure that you have whatever it is that you're going to be saying all rehearsed. This is an important question, so I'd like to address it. When I was in school, I was walking by a girl that I had a crush on, and I saw her coming from a distance, so I tried to rehearse in my head what I was going to say, and I was going back and forth between saying, "What's up?" or I was going to say, "What's happening?" And I guess I just kept going back and forth between those two phrases. When she finally walked by, I said some combination of the two. I think I said, "What's up, happening?" And I was like, that doesn't even make sense. So definitely have your line all rehearsed before saying anything. I hope that helped. Okay, so we have here, I don't know if you can see, but there's a little digital readout here. Oh boy, they always give you a freaking short cord for these things. But I'm going to put this on medium, and I'll push start. Okay, so you can hear that thing's starting to go here. I believe we're going to put a little bit of oil into this thing. I've got some olive oil in spray form, which makes it much, much easier to work with. And I'm going to grab some utensils. Oh boy. I should have prepped my utensils beforehand. I apologize about that. Okay. Well, it's just been told to me that we're having a raid from Nim and Forsen. That's exciting. I still have yet to completely understand what a raid is. So the pressure's on here. If anybody's just joining us right now, we are making Henry's Easy Cheesy Nachos Supreme. We've got our emulsified cheese type product along with, ideally you want to use tortilla chips. We don't have tortilla chips. We'll be using the Ritz cracker for this. And I also have some various forms of plant-based meat that have been in the fridge for a long time that I'm trying to use up. I have a red pepper as opposed to a green pepper, but you can use whichever you want. So let's go ahead and start cooking. You know, I think it's really important when you're talking to children to be very encouraging. So I was talking to a friend of mine who said that their nephew was depressed because the painting that they made on the refrigerator didn't work out very well. And I said, well, maybe you say something encouraging, like a lot of the best artists throughout history weren't even recognized for their genius until way after they were dead. And that's true. And that might give them a sense of, you know, maybe it's not going to happen soon, but maybe at some point in history people will look at this drawing that I made and think it's real genius. Of course, they could still think it's crap. But let's see how this is going here. This is definitely an interesting combination of two flavors, that's for sure. The hot plate that I got at the thrift store seems to be working like gangbusters, which is nice. I'm going to do a quick check on the directions here. It looks like the next step is we're going to be put our chili powder and our cumin. So, oh yeah, no, we're not using chili powder. We're using paprika. I've got the stoked paprika, but you can use any kind that you want. It's just going to be a little bit of a zing. If you have chili powder, that's going to work as well. You want to go easy with the cumin. You don't want to use too much, and that's very important. It's one of the easiest ways to mess up Latin American food. I'm already kind of wishing that I would have used a little bit more olive oil on this. But we want to stir that up a little bit. Next up, we're going to add our beans to the party. Fortunately, this is one of those kind of cans where it just opens. So there's not a lot of problem there. Oh! This is very difficult to open. You don't want to get the water in there, so... Ah, wait, no, I did it backwards. I just got the water in there. Nachos are one of these dishes where you're just basically putting a lot of stuff on top of crackers. So there's not a lot of ways that you can screw this up, which is nice, especially if you're a beginner in the kitchen. I remember in my early days of cooking, I would make a lot of stupid mistakes, you know, like I would put something in the oven for an hour and then forget that I put something in there, and then I didn't even turn the oven on. So an hour later I was starving. Okay. You're going to find yourself, when you're a beginner in the kitchen, doing things like, either putting the oven on too much, forgetting that you put the oven on, forgetting that you didn't put it on, forgetting that you even were making food. These are all very common things that happen when you're in the kitchen. We're going to let this simmer for a little bit. Maybe this would be a good time to check in on the roast beef cam and see what's happening there. Roast beef is my cat, for anybody who's wondering. He's been hiding under the sink. Oh, there he goes. Can be kind of boring to watch. Anyway. All right. Well, you know, if anybody has any questions, maybe this would be a good time while we're cooking up our magnificent meal here. Let's see. What is my name? My name is Henry. Any chance? Oh, Henry's Kitchen Aprons. Wait, what was the last one? I missed it. Smoked paprika. In terms of the aprons, I'm going to be honest with you, they're very difficult to make. They take about an hour to make each one, and this one I made years ago. And I started selling them when I hit a point where I was needing some extra finances to finance my kitchen videos, and it wound up kind of working backwards because when I was selling them, it was costing me too much to get the materials. I was driving all around the city trying to find aprons and letters and all this stuff, and using so much in gas. But usually over the summers and over the holidays, I will have aprons. And one sure way, and I'm not trying to promote, but if you go onto the Patreon, there's a subscriber tier where I'll send you an apron. Okay, so let's go back to the. All right, I think this is pretty good at this point. You know what? I think we could probably use a few more beans. Someone asked about constipation. Constipation is very real. I know that a lot of people like to make fun of it, and, the same way they make fun of diarrhea. But these are actually very serious issues. I've had all of the above. It's mostly diet related, but sometimes it can be stressful. Cooking is very, very stressful. It's probably one of the most stressful activities that there is. You know, more so even than being like a fireman sometimes or something. Because whatever you're cooking needs to be consumed by either you or someone who's depending on you, and lives are at stake. So that kind of stress is going to give you the runs. But my experience with constipation is that if you have a lot of oil in your food, like here I put a lot of olive oil. Remember when I was spraying it? As a matter of fact, I'm going to spray a little bit more. That's going to get things moving a little bit. It's a trick that doctors use, actually. Go in with constipation, they put some olive oil in a cup and have you drink it right there. I'd prefer to do it in the cooking way, but I think we're getting close to the next. Okay, we're going to let this simmer, and now we're going to start. Somebody asked if butter would work. I would imagine so. They're both made of similar things. Okay, so I'm going to put our food aside there, and we're going to move on to our next step. I have here a pot or a pan or whatever. And what we're going to do is we're going to start, while our food is simmering, we're going to start laying down our base. So I'm debating. I think I'm going to go ahead and use some tin foil for this. Because that's a very dirty pan. Hey, if your pans and pots aren't dirty, then you're not doing it right. I'm sorry. This is very common. A lot of times people will say that my dishes are dirty, or my clothes are dirty, my apron's dirty, whatever. If you're not getting stuff dirty in life, you have to ask yourself, what are you doing? And are you doing it to the full extent? Yes, somebody brought up this point, and it's true. There's a pizza place called Uno. It's a Chicago pizzeria, and they're famous for never washing their pans or their silverware or any of their ovens or any of the things that they do, and they're very proud of it. They say that the reason is that when you make a pizza, if you build upon the pizzas that have made before it for the last 100 years, you get a unique flavor. And I always like every dish that I make to taste like the food that came before it. And in this case, I'm using a pot that is literally owned by somebody else. So my food is probably going to taste a little bit like the food that they were making, which is kind of creepy in a weird way. But all right, I'm going to put that on low because it looks like it's simmering pretty good. Let's start laying down our base. we have here, lay the chips down evenly on a cookie sheet to form bottom layer, then top with the meat and bean mixture. Oh, you know what? We haven't, we skipped a step here. We have to dice our green pepper. So I can do that. If you're just joining us, we're making Henry's Easy Cheesy Nachos Supreme. This pepper is going to add some nice color to it. We just want to dice it up real fine. I think the red peppers are a little bit spicier perhaps than the other ones. But that's pretty good. This is going to add some nice color. If it were green, it would be better, but this is going to be all right. All right, so hopefully if you're doing this at home, you've got a nice, very fine cut of diced peppers there, green or red, either one. And I believe we're supposed to put that into our mixture. So let's go ahead and do that now. I'm going to bring this back in. And again, we want to stir that up. Somebody asked what other color pepper. Yeah, there's orange peppers, there's yellow peppers. You could, you want to be careful though, because some of these peppers can get very spicy, and I think there's a heat index. Somebody said it looks like a beautiful garden. That's nice. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to do another spray down. And we're going to start laying down our base. In this case, you know, ideally you would have crackers, or you'd have tortilla chips, but we're just going to be using the Ritz crackers. And you know what? They're all made of the same thing, literally. So you just want to form a base layer. Somebody asked about the last time that I cleaned my pot or my apron. Well, the apron actually, and this is some little known trivia, I've never cleaned this apron, and I made it, or I bought the materials for it about 11 years ago. But that's because I don't really mind being alone. Being alone is actually has a lot of advantages when it comes to maintenance, paperwork, laundry, all these types of things. Okay, that's looking like a nice little layer. It's a little too neat, and nachos are all about being messy, so why don't we go ahead and mess around a little bit and start filling up some of those gaps with some more crackers. It's supposed to be messy. We're supposed to be getting our fingers dirty. We're supposed to be getting our aprons dirty and our dishes and everything, and I think we're doing a pretty good job. Somebody asked about something about potatoes, I think. Potato chips. Yeah, no, anything that's made out of corn, like potato chips or Ritz crackers or pretty much any of these things, you should be okay. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and top off this base layer with our other meat, bean, and pepper layer. So I'm going to turn off the new appliance here, and I'm going to unplug it because I want to be safe. And we're going to start pouring this to be careful because it's hot. I'm trying to pour it while at the same time demonstrate it to you, so it's making it a little bit difficult. All right. Okay, well, I'd say that worked out pretty well. We're just gonna now, sometimes you have to use your hands, unfortunately, because this thing, these are supposed to imitate fingers, but it doesn't really work, so you just got to get in there and get your hands dirty. This is what I did when I have a friend whose daughter had a quinceañera, which is a 16th birthday tradition, and I told him I was a chef, so he had me cater the event, and I made my easy cheesy nachos. And he offered to pay me $1,000, and I refused. I just said, no, you're a friend, and I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to take your money. And apparently no one liked the food, and he even complained about it. And I told him, well, you know, what do you expect for free? Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the next step here. It looks like we're going to have a third layer that we're going to add on here, and that's going to be our emulsified cheese product. It can be real cheese if you want, but generally speaking, this works best with something like Kraft Singles or something along that line, and I'm not sure why. I guess it has to do with the texture or whatever, but this is going to be our cheese layer, and somebody was asking about constipation earlier. Cheese can be both a cure and a cause of constipation, and it's not really known exactly how the science works, but we have empirical data that goes all the way back to, 3000 BC that shows that that once humans started consuming dairy, the bowel problems started up. So if somebody asked about my skin products. I like to use olive oil. They get a little bit of that spray that I had, and that works pretty good. And also, I try not to stress out too much. Okay. So as you can see, I ran out of a little bit of cheese, so I'm going to just sort of divvy it up a little bit more evenly here. Nachos are going to be a great party dish, or if you're just by yourself and you want to do some kind of little fiesta all by yourself, that's going to work also. Oh shit, I was supposed to turn on the oven a long time ago. All right, I want to address this as well. So, most recipes that you read, they'll start out the directions by saying preheat the oven to 375 degrees, 400 degrees in this case. I didn't see that on this recipe, but it all of a sudden hit me at the end by saying, and put it in the oven for 20 minutes at 400 degrees. That really sucks, because then you gotta wait. There is a function on most ovens called the broil function, and what's beautiful about that is that you don't actually have to wait for it to preheat. It just sort of turns on automatically. So let's go ahead and do that. I've got some other pans here. So I'm going to push broil. Broil. Okay, you have to push stop and then broil. and I'll put high, because for the purposes of our demonstration here, we don't want it to get too, we don't want to wait too long. So, okay, we're going to put that in there for about 20 minutes, and in the meantime, maybe this would be a good opportunity to do some music. I love music. I love making music and singing songs, and I can't think of a better thing to do while you're waiting for your nachos to broil. So I had a request for this song last time, and I didn't really have the lyrics ready, so I went ahead and took care of it. So let's go ahead and do the best that we can with this. This is a song called "It's All About Me," and this is an inspirational pick-me-up song. It's something that when you hear it, you just want to get up and rock and get up in the morning, start getting stuff done, make your nachos, wash your dishes, whatever you need to do. And it's a real rocker, so hopefully I won't blow the doors off of this place here. Alone in my room, time after time, all I've got left is my will to survive. I've got the fire burning inside, and I've waited so long for this moment in time. I'm gonna change, you wait and see. I'm gonna be the best I can be. I'll be much better than everybody, because this time it's all about me. I tried to get this to be the theme song for a Sylvester Stallone movie back in the 80s, but they never returned my calls. Early to bed, early to rise. Can I have the salad instead of the fries? The odds are against me, but what the hell? I'm gonna start sticking up for myself. Show me the way, show me a sign. Show me that this time it's my turn to shine. I'm gonna be so much better than you, 'cause this time it's all about me. There's that one, and hopefully that wasn't a little too aggressive for some of the people out there. Maybe I'll bring it down a little bit with this next number. Let's see. She says she wants to Uber home now, 'cause you're just not her type of guy. But she still wants to be your friend, and if she meets her Mr. Right, maybe you could help her move her stuff when they move in together. But for now, she just wants to Uber home. She says it's not that you're not handsome, you're just not her cup of tea. And she's got better things to do than to hang around with you. She's got other ways she'd rather spend her time. But for now, she just wants to Uber home. And you gotta pay for that Uber too. It's the right thing to do. We had a request for a song called On the Shoulders of Freaks. I'll do a little bit. This is a song that was... there's a famous quote by Isaac Newton where he once said that the reason he was able to see so much further and more clearly than everybody else was that he was standing on the shoulders of giants. And this is a song about the various people that have made incredible contributions to Western civilization and some of the bizarre habits that they might have had. In fact, a little known story is that Salvador Dali, the artist, actually was trying to impress this girl that he was in love with. And this might go back to the person that was asking about how to talk to girls. His idea was he wanted to show how meek and meager and humble that he was in her presence. So what he did was he got completely naked and covered himself in his own excrement or whatever. I'm sorry if you're cooking here, but and showed up to the doorstep, and it didn't work. It's not a good idea. I couldn't recommend it as something to do if you're in love with a girl. I'm sure the family never wanted to see him again, and he probably had a lot of problems seeing them after that. But that's a true story. That's from his autobiography, but here we go. Ancient philosophy was framed by prodigies, Aristotle, Plato, and Socrates. And even though their thoughts were deemed the aristocratic voice, they also had a thing for little boys. Salvador Dali, needless to say, covered himself in his own excrement each day. From the great romantics to the ancient Greeks, we're standing on the shoulders of freaks. Okay, I think that's enough for music time. I'm going to do a quick check on our food here. Okay, it's getting there. It's certainly getting there. One last thing I'd like to do. Last time we streamed, there was an issue with the Henry's Kitchen game where all of the high scores had disappeared, and there were so many good high scores. So I wasn't really too keen on playing it until we fixed that issue. But my friend Mark Cohen, who made the game, fixed it, and now all the high scores are back. And I'm going to go ahead and, while we've got a little bit of time here, I'm going to go ahead and see how I do. We've got some wonderful moderators that I'll mention in a little bit. Maybe if you could post a link to the game so that people could play it if they wanted to. But basically what we're doing here is we've got the Henry's Kitchen game, and you just push cook. If you're on your phone, you want to turn it sideways, and we're just going to try to get as many ingredients as we can, and we're going to try to avoid things like onions and insects. So there's
awesome.
So you're trying to make sandwiches. You've got peanut butter, jelly, and bread.
Nice.
And once you've made all three of those things, you've got yourself a sandwich.
Woohoo!
And
peanut butter.
I just made my first sandwich right there.
Made.
Unfortunately, all the ingredients don't come out in order, so
awesome.
You have to wait for them to come.
Yeah. Bread.
The strategy that I use is that in the beginning I try to get every ingredient that comes down.
Yeah.
But you'll notice it starts getting a little faster.
Yeah.
And that's when you're going to have to start prioritizing which ingredients that you get.
Yeah.
So each game probably lasts about 3 minutes total because it gets a little too hard. But I gotta say, there's some people you'll see on the high score leaderboard. There's some people that have as much as 98 points, which blew my mind. You do get a free life at 30 points. But, I mean, 98 points is ridiculous.
Sandwich made. Delish.
Some of the people that have had really high scores are Shebaz, Too Much Cherry, Bumble Vision,
Sandwich made.
the LGX.
Yeah. Delish. Sandwich made.
Okay, so now it's starting to get a little bit harder here.
Sandwich made.
Whoever was talking about diarrhea earlier, this
made.
game's going to do that for you. I don't know why I brought that up, but okay, so we have 17 sandwiches made. Now I'm going to look at the top right here, and I'm going to see that it looks like when it comes to bread and jelly, I'm doing okay, but my peanut butter ratio is a little low. So I'm going to start prioritizing peanut butter. If the other ones are coming down, I'll take them, but and this is one of the frustrating things about this game is sometimes all you need is peanut butter, and you get nothing but bread and jelly. But that's a little bit like life. Okay, there's peanut butter. All right, so we've got 26 now. This is going to be, we're going to get to 30 real quick.
Peanut butter made.
Okay, so yeah, we're doing real well.
Sandwich made. Woohoo! Jelly. Bread.
I think my highest score was in the 70s.
Awesome.
But you know what? This one's going so well. I actually might be able to. This might be one of the highest scores that I've ever got.
Nice. Sandwich made. Sandwich made. Sandwich made.
If you're playing this at home, I don't want to make this look too easy for you. It's actually very difficult.
Sandwich made.
I've spent hours and hours trying to perfect my gameplay. It's a game that's very complicated in nature. It actually combines strategy skills with dexterity skills and a little bit of mental skills thrown in there for good measure. Okay, so now things are going to start coming down much quicker. I'm going to look at what I have. Okay, jelly I'm doing fine, so I don't have to look at jelly anymore. Peanut butter and bread.
Peanut butter made.
This game has become all about peanut butter and bread.
Awesome. Peanut butter made.
Uh-oh. But I'm still kicking some proverbial
Sandwich made.
ass here.
Sandwich made. Peanut butter made. Nice. Sucks.
Uh-oh.
Woohoo!
Okay, yeah, this is about usually where it kind
Sandwich
of falls
made.
apart a little bit.
Sandwich made. Woohoo!
Sometimes the best you can hope for is just sort of free falling. Look at all that peanut butter that just happened right there.
Awesome. Peanut butter made.
Oh no. Okay. So I did get a free life, which is nice. I need peanut butter. That's basically what I need.
Nice. Woohoo! Nice. Sandwich made.
Unfortunately, I can smell my nachos burning a little bit, so I'm kind of torn. But this is the best game that I've ever had. So okay.
Holy guacamole.
So I'm gonna put Henry.
Guacamole. I just got hit by a car.
Shebaz, Too Much Cherry, Josh Ladd, Shebaz,
Who swept me off my feet.
Too Much Cherry,
Pushed me in
Bumbles,
the street.
Henry's. Oh yeah, I got 83 one time. Forsen, I'm glad to see Forsen there. And why don't we go ahead and maybe I'm gonna turn that off. Maybe this would be a good time for us to thank some of the people that have made this streaming situation a lot easier for me. Moderators: Dingo Bob, Fawcan, Dom Beef, Hottest Bear, Do Dingle, Dogoggy, Dr. Flanges, and some other people who have been helpful as well as Bacchus, Daisy Blossom, Melon 95, Pilskeman, And I always want to say a special thank you to the people that have sent viewers over here to Henry's Kitchen, and that would be Nim, Bumblevision, the LGX, and Forsen, who I haven't met, but Forsen sends a lot of people over here. And also to my pal Bill Larkin, who was the first phone call that I made. Bill is he improvises songs based on suggestions, and he's a good friend, and he was the first person that I knew that knew anything about this. But anyway, enough of all that. I think it's time now for us to check our dish and see what we have here. I'm going to grab an oven mitt because this is going to be hot. There's no doubt about it. It also occurred to me I have some cilantro that I'm going to put on top of it, which will be nice. Okay. It's very hot. Let's take a look. The cheese seems to have held its consistency pretty well, but there's definitely something lacking here, and I'll tell you exactly what it is. It's greenery, and that's why you're going to use the cilantro. You just want to take... Now, if you're making a big presentation for you know, if you're catering your friend's niece's quinceañera or something, you're probably going to try to take the stems out, but that can literally take hours. So I'm just going to go ahead and put some of this greenery on top of it. And here we have Henry's Easy Cheesy Nachos Supreme. You want to take a good look at that. The crackers didn't. It's way too hot to eat right now, but I will indeed be eating this. Let's see here. I think what I'll do here, I'm going to take a cracker and I'm going to try to scoop up a little bit of every element. Wow, okay, the crackers are very soggy and they're very hot. I hope if you made these at home they came out somewhere near as good looking as this did, because it's delicious. Yeah, I'm going to grab a little bit of cilantro as well, and then there we have a very nice nacho. This is a nacho which encapsulates every part of the recipe. You've got the peppers in there, you've got both types of meat, the light and the dark, you've got your cracker, obviously, the cumin and the smoked paprika is probably in there, mixed in, and you've got oh, you know what, I don't think I have cheese on there. I'm not sure what exactly happened to the cheese. Well, I guess it's all just kind of I guess it's all just kind of melted in there. It's very hot, but anyway, yeah, this is it, you guys. If you're making this at home, I hope you have a nice little fiesta. Yeah, let's give it a shot here. Wow. I think in retrospect, I might not have left the cheese on there as long as I did, because it seems to have taken on some other kind of form, more of a liquid form. Well, but then crusted over or something like that. But I will say, the best part of the flavor of this is the Ritz cracker on the bottom. I would say that you could probably do this entire recipe with basically just the Ritz cracker and the cheese, and then skip the broiling process. But you know what? I would say this is one of the better dishes that I've made. Someone asked if it was gluten-free. No, I believe the Ritz cracker has gluten in it. But it is vegan-free because it has cheese. But there you have it, guys. If you, I'm not sure if you're able to post pictures in the Discord, but if you have, or if you have a link or something like that, I'd like to see what your concoctions are looking like. This doesn't seem like a very difficult dish for an amateur to pull off. You're basically just putting meat into a pan on a hot plate and then pouring it over some crackers, and there's not really a lot that can go wrong, except I think that I probably put it in a little too long. But wow, somebody made beef stroganoff. That's a very difficult dish to pull off. Anything that sounds Eastern European or Russian will have a lot of difficulty attached to it. Somebody asked, what was the last one? Oh. Yes, a graham cracker will work. Literally, any kind of breaded or corned or potatoed chip or cracker will serve as your bottom layer bread base for this dish. It's going to vary in taste. Like, for example, this would probably be more of a lunch item or a fancy dinner or something like that. But if you used a graham cracker and then maybe put marshmallows instead of cheese, and then maybe did chocolate instead of beef, you'd have something called a s'more. So a lot of times there's some crossover. Someone asked if I watched the Gilmore Girls yet. I have not, unfortunately. I've been incredibly busy trying to put together this nacho recipe. There were a lot of ingredients that I had to find in my cupboard, and I also wanted to get all the preparation and the timing right and everything. But I will watch the Gilmore Girls. It sounds like it's a wonderful show based on your suggestion. So anyway, everybody, my next stream is going to be on Sunday at noon, and again, I can't thank everybody enough. Who was it? There were a lot of people that gave gifts. Okay, I'm gonna have to figure out what the gift giving situation is. If someone gives me a gift, I remember it, and I think that's important. And so if for some reason you want me to shout out the fact that you gave me a gift, go ahead and send me a whisper or whatever here on Twitch, because I want to make sure I'm doing the right thing and doing right by you guys. You've been very supportive and given me a lot of well, you've given me the gift of watching my cooking, which is probably the most important gift that anybody could ever give. So yeah. Rest in peace, his inbox. Okay, so maybe I'll get a lot of them. That's all right. I got time, guys. I've got a lot of time. So once again, thank you very much, everybody. And I'm going to try to have some new songs ready and some old songs. And I hope you enjoyed today's show. And I want to thank, I believe in Nim and Forson both sent people over to watch this stream. So I want to thank them. And I want to thank everybody for being so great during this whole journey. So thanks everyone, and I will see you on Sunday.